make the switch to green energy, our nation will have to embrace new ideas and technology. Thankfully, people like Julie and Scott Broussard have been thinking green for some time. The Broussards have designed and built special solar panels that can be used to replace concrete roads. The panels are made out of high-tech glass that can withstand the heaviest of trucks, power electric vehicles that drive over them, and even melt snow and ice to eliminate plowing. The special glass is textured to prevent slipping in wet or icy conditions, and they can even be equipped with LED lights that would replace painted-on road lines. Broussards estimate that if all of our nation's paved roads were replaced with these solar panels, we could eliminate our use of fossil fuels and cut greenhouse gases by 75%. They've already built a test parking lot with their solar panels, and their hometown of Sandpoint, Idaho, is already looking to be their first customer. These panels could turn our patchwork of roads into a national solar grid, and they'd be a great infrastructure project to put people back to work. It looks like the Broussards have created a win-win project for everyone, and we should get busy building some new solar roads.
Hi there, I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
You're tuned into Video Radio. Two random guys with a video camera talking about solutions banks and government are just not interested in.
Yeah, they seem to have a food problem in China there, but guys are really coming up with some innovative solutions.
There are spectacular solutions offered by China. We're going to make reference to a movie that you can watch about their green revolution over there. But right now, a quick clip.
A clip about urban farms and how they're springing up all over the USA.
Check it out.
Lettuce and tomatoes aren't the only things growing at Gotham Greens. The business itself is expanding.
Building a facility like this on a rooftop certainly has its challenges. We want to be as lightweight as possible, so there's a lot of...
Co-founder Viraj Puri claims to have the only 2 commercial rooftop greenhouses in the country, and they're in the process of building more. This is about as local as it gets. The second Gotham Greens greenhouse was built right on top of a Whole Foods supermarket.
The main advantage to growing produce in an urban environment is the shortened supply chain.
Gotham specializes in highly perishable vegetables and herbs, typically shipped from far away. Here they sell it right downstairs, as well as throughout the region. This reduces the energy used to transport the produce, as well as the cost.
Many stores in New York get their produce from California, all the way on the West Coast. That means it's already a week old by the time it hits store shelves, but not here.
It's a model that appears to be gaining an interest as well as investors. Bright Farms is another company raising money to finance urban farms close to grocery stores that will want to sell their products.
We come in and say we're going to grow produce on a commercial scale level locally, or at least regionally, right? And that means the produce will be fresher, tastier, safer, it'll be more attractive. Supermarkets love this idea.
So too does government, which has provided grant money to Gotham Greens and other urban farms.
They don't just produce food, they also stem stormwater runoff into our sewer system. They provide greenery for neighborhoods. They are places where people can learn how to farm and get job skills. So they really are beneficial in a lot of different ways.
Experts caution the business model is still new and largely untested. But as long as the demand for fresh local food continues, urban farmers expect their profits to keep growing.
So what do you think?
Well, I think that's really cool. You know, they're really making a commercial model out of it.
Yes, and it's actually employing people. Remember, before the Industrial Revolution, 95% of us were employed in food production or in some way, shape, or form. Either we were making it, growing it, or transporting it. And now, major corporations have taken all those jobs away.
But it just makes sense, though, to, you know, grow the food really locally. Save a lot on transport costs.
And we're seeing these farms pop up on stores all over the place. Take a look at what Ikea is putting on its roof too. Pretty neat stuff. Okay, so
speaking of Ikea,
good segue.
Apparently they're really working on the green energy sector.
Yes, yes.
Check out what they're doing as far as solar and wind power is concerned.
The Swedish home furnishing group Ikea is investing in its first enormous wind farm in the United States. They bought a wind farm in Illinois, which they say is going to generate enough electricity to power all of their stores, warehouses, and facilities in the United States with some left over to sell. The company purchased Hubeston Wind. It was a project already under construction, so that it's almost done already. It's set to go live in 2015. So this was already being built, and they just came along and bought it, and they made it easy. Steve Howard, Chief Sustainability Officer at Ikea, says, "The U.S. has amazing wind and sun resources that will never run out. We're delighted to make this investment. It is great for jobs, great for energy security, and great for our business. Importantly, it is great for the future of our climate." Steve Howard says this: "If you start with a values-driven point of view, you can make a business case. Climate change and energy security mean you have to have a radical approach. We need 6, 7, or 8-fold decrease in carbon intensity. That's not business as usual. Energy efficiency only gets you so far. You have to decouple your business from carbon. Then you have to look at what's commercially scalable." As a large organization, it's really admirable. They actually are spending $150 million just on solar panels alone. That'll make them the second largest solar owner in the country.
Okay, so just to tell you, I haven't even seen that clip yet, but you have. Now I'm going to go home and watch it.
Well, apparently,
it was cool, right?
Ikea is really using it as a business model to show other people how they can, they're even selling energy back to the grid.
Yes, and that's an awesome thing. This is why the Municipal Sustainability Project, we've had some technological advancements with that one. Update to come on video after the March Against Monsanto.
But of course, the Swiss are ahead of us, or the Swedes actually.
Yes.
Ikea is Swedish, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, they are.
Or Korean.
Swedish. I remember Igmar from Ikea.
Ah.
But
okay.
apparently they're using, they're making extremely interesting use of people that have shaken off this mortal coil.
Check this out.
This is Rackster Crematorium on the outskirts of Stockholm. Around 4,000 bodies are cremated on this site every year. And each person who passes through here leaves behind a legacy, knowing they've played a small part in keeping the people of Stockholm warm during the harsh Swedish winter.
So exactly how does the process work? Well, the furnaces below us can reach temperatures of up to 1,200 degrees Celsius, and the hot smoke ends up here and is cooled by this machine. Now in here are 150 different pipes through which the smoke is pumped, and they're encapsulated and encased by cold water. And throughout the process, the cold water is heated, and then the hot water is sent to the public heating system.
For years, there's been heated debate about renewable energy and continuing damage to the environment. The authorities here believe this is an ideal solution. The process creates up to 1,800 megawatts of energy each year. In real terms, that's enough to use the toaster over 2.5 million times. You could make 1 million cups of tea or tumble dry your clothes 600,000 times. But what about those that use the energy created? Do they believe life after death in this way is a good idea?
From a moral standpoint, I couldn't see any real issues, no.
It's going to be burned anyway, so let's take care of the energy that's flowing through it. So, yeah.
Staff at the crematorium agree, saying the public have no grave concerns about the process. The technique has been used in Sweden for some time now, and the country appears to be leading where others follow. The UK funeral industry has been watching closely, with one crematorium there also adopting the process. So with energy bills rising and the green debate raging, this is one idea that seems to be a roaring success.
Okay, so kind of creep in there.
Well, it depends on your moral standing and, how much, what good is a dead body? I mean, it's good for fuel or fertilizer.
Right, Soylent Greens. Just like, okay, but no, it's not like that. All right, taking a look at alternative energy, and yes, okay, by the way, put my body in a pot, grow a tree. Have you seen that one? It's cool. Australia, they are really leading the way in renewable energy technology. Yes, isn't he patient with me? Taking a look at Australia, right here, radio free.
It's hardly a pumping metropolis. Australia's King Island, between the mainland and Tasmania, has more cows than people, but it's becoming a prototype for how islands the world over could be powered. Traditionally, small communities rely on diesel generators. King Island did. But there are now times the entire island is powered by renewable energy. That's the needs of 2,000 people and of industrial customers. King Islands includes a high-end cheese-making plant with the most power-hungry machinery on the island.
So far, we've run the island up to 7.5 hours of purely wind energy, powering the whole island. Total to date of about 150 hours.
Ironically, renewable energy targets have been reached by keeping diesel in the mix, while also deliberately wasting power. The traditional problem with wind power is that it's unreliable. Not enough, and the lights can go out. But too much can be just as bad. A surge can trip the system. The breakthrough is combining two innovations: a responsive generator that only fires up and burns diesel when the power generated by the wind and the sun drops below demand, and a resistor which automatically taps off excess power when overperforming renewables threaten to overwhelm the system. This screen shows the power mix coming in and the output demand is pulling out. Here, wind power generation would cover demand, but it's topped up with a little diesel anyway, in case a big customer turns on a big switch. The big hope is that the technology here can be rolled out to other small islands and remote communities currently dependent on diesel. Across the Pacific, there is plenty of fluctuating sun and wind. Harnessing it reliably could transform islands there even more than this one. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, King Island, Australia.
And no, it wasn't a dig. I was just pointing out the fact that Robert's so patient with me all the time, especially when I show up not prepared by watching the videos.
Well, you know, it does help, but, you know, you fake it pretty good.
I do. Right on. That's because I was trained by the CBC. Well, no, CKIQ. Walter Gray.
Thank you, Walter.
Okay. Yes, he's our mayor. Sorry for those of you overseas. It's not an inside joke. The fact of the matter is I was trained by our mayor and his staff on how to sound coherent.
So that was a quick look at how people are taking on the renewable energy market and also dealing with sustainability issues.
It's really awesome that people are stepping up with some major solutions to our major problem and looking at getting us off of oil. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to be talking about...
a P-powered generator.
Yes, and dumpsters made into homes. Those and other spectacular issues right here in Radio Free Canada. I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We'll be right back.
We think first of vague words that are synonyms for progress and pair them with footage of a high-speed train. Science is doing lots of stuff that may or may not have anything to do with us. See how this guy in a lab coat holds up a beaker? That means we do research. Here's a picture of DNA. There are a shitload of people in the world, especially in India. See how we're part of the global economy? Look at those farmers in China. But we also do business in the USA, or want you to think we do. Check out this wind energy thing in Indiana, and this blue-collar guy with dirt on his face. Also, we care about the environment, loosely. Here's some powerful rushing water and people planting trees. Our policies could be related to these panoramic views of Costa Rica. In today's high-speed environment, stop-motion footage of a city at night with cars turning quickly makes you think about doing things efficiently and time passing. Lest you think we're a faceless entity, look at all these attractive people. Here's some of them talking and laughing, and close-ups of hands passing canned goods to each other in a setting that evokes community service. Equality, innovation, honesty, and advancement are all words we choose from a list. Our prophets are awe-inspiring, like this guy who's looking up and pointing at a skyscraper or a kite while smiling and explaining something to his child. Using a specific ratio of Asian people to black people to women to white men, we want to make sure we represent your needs and interests, or at least a version of your skin color in our ads. Did we put a baby in here? What about an ethnic old man whose wrinkled smile represents the happiness and wisdom of the poor? Yep,